Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. We are less than a week away from the launch of next Hearthstone expansion, Murder Castle Nathria, and I thought it would be fun to go over and speculate. What will the cards be that will be nerfed first after the next expansion, with a little bit of insight on when that timing will be. Before we get into that though, of course, we have our giveaway going on for the Battle Pass, the rewards track. I'm giving away 3 out of my own pocket. All you have to do is like a comment in the video, in the description below. Subscribe to the channel. If we hit 56,000 subscribers by next Tuesday, I will add another rewards track to the giveaway, so hit that sub button, make me go broke. So what cards do I think will get nerfed? And I'm going to do a whole mixture of things, standard, wild, and then the next expansion cards, and go over what I think. These aren't my demands. I'm not saying like, please Blizzard nerf these, although I probably would like a lot of these if they happen, but I would love to hear your guys' predictions, or maybe they don't nerf anything. Maybe they buff a bunch of stuff. I'd love to hear it. But yeah, there was some insight given by Aleko. He's like the balance lead, that we can expect a balance patch maybe within 2 weeks. And he was even asked by this gentleman here, have you given any more consideration to nerfing Celestial Alignment for next expansion? It's by far my most unfun card ever, which Aleko responded with, it's still on my short list of cards for the next live balance patch window, which is after the release of the next set. So they're already thinking about it, but it also mentioned here in regards to a Control Warrior response, he doesn't want to make any plans for buffs or nerfs until they see how the expansion shakes things up. So this is going to be purely prediction based. It should be fun. Again, let me know what you guys think. So I have my list. Let's take a look at it. And first, you might be wondering why I have Sanguine Sylvanas in the thumbnail. It's not even a card. How would you nerf it? Well, I gotta say, she looks pretty good. And do you remember Jaina? Yeah, they nerfed certain assets on her too. And yeah, you never know what might get nerfed about Sylvanas. So first prediction, bit of a bold one. They might change her, and I'm not a big fan of that at all. So I'm going to start my predictions with a really one that almost certainly won't happen, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways. I think Grey Sage Parrot could actually get nerfed, but this is wild based. I don't think you ban the card. I just think you restrict the battle cry to spells you've cast that cost 6 or more rather than 5, because well, in standard, if you look at the big spell decks, they don't play any 5-cost spells. It would be a nerf to Arena, where this card is relevant with some 5-cost spells that are pretty good. But if you take a look at Open the Waygate, in particular Time Warp, recasting this with the parrot is absolutely one of the most toxic experiences you can endure in Wild. And I play this deck quite a bit. I actually like it because I am that sick individual, but I do think it's unhealthy for the game. I don't think it's something where you should be able to cast like 5, 6, 7 turns in a row. And if you would make that change to parrot, that would happen. So I'm going to throw that out there. I feel like maybe the parrot does get hit. I'll throw an honorable mention to Swordfish because aggro rogue's so just ridiculous in Wild. This weapon to me should just have 2 durability, and if it was really good in standard, it probably would happen. But as it stands, it's just a really good wild card, and I would just generally be shocked if it gets changed, but I thought I would mention that. My last wild prediction, I do think Tome Tampering, which isn't in the client yet, will get banned from Wild at some point, whether it's the first balance patch or not. Its interaction with Malchezaar's Imp, I do think is game breaking, and I do think it will lead to a wild ban in the near future, but you never know. Maybe you disagree with me on that one. Now looking at standard, I can't imagine Celestial Alignment survives another balance patch. At 8 mana, I think this card needs a fundamental rework. I think they'll just probably bump it to 10. I think they'll just nuke the card, because even at 9, it's probably too big a risk. Even at 10, honestly, it could be a risk because Guff is a card. But I think the card needs a fundamental rework. Making it a legendary isn't that. Making it just one-sided actually could be a buff to the card. I don't even think that is a good expectation of what it changed, because it's the 1 mana cards that's the problem. So I don't know how you rework this card, but to me, I feel like it deserves a war songing, an Eluciating, just outright change the way it works, because it just leads to such an unfun and toxic experience, in particular for the opponent. But even playing it, even as a druid player, a druid main basically, I just find it personally a really unfun interaction. I do think Guff's time at 5 mana is likely limited. I do think they will bump him to 6 alongside Alignment. Personally, I'd probably still leave him at 5. I'm that biased. I would just nerf Alignment, see how druid is after that. But yes, I do think Guff will probably go to 6. Nothing else changing. I doubt they would change the empty mana crystal part. That I feel like kills the card. At 6, you just slow it down. It's still playable. So that's kind of what I would see happening. Those are the only older cards that I think are kind of problematic and standard that could get changed. However, looking at the new expansion cards, I have a couple of predictions of cards that look just too damn good. That just, I can't imagine they'll stay the way they are. And these are the most bold of my predictions because good Lord knows I could be totally wrong. We could have another Scabs Cutter Butter for each and every one of these. But for me, Impending Catastrophe just looks like an outright broken card on every level. 2 mana, draw a card, repeat for each imp you control. You just play this with the Wicked Shipment. You play it with the 3 mana imp spell. It's just a broken card. You're drawing so much for dirt cheap. We saw it with like Fungal Fortune, Secret Passage, all these cards that got nerfed that were too cheap, too good. I just cannot imagine Impending Catastrophe staying at 2. It just seems absurd to play 2 mana, possibly draw 8. Draw 8 with 7 imps on the board, and that's not out of question. And it's not like you just have to play an imp deck. You can just play Wicked Shipment, and that's basically it, and you have your draw package. It just seems way too good, way too cheap. Hell, it's a Shadow Spell too with Tamsin. This is the card to me. If I had to predict only one card from the latest set to get nerfed, it's going to be this one. Therefore, it's the one card that won't get nerfed. They're all going to get nerfed, but this one, you just wait and see. Believe it or not, there's 2 priest cards I think that could actually get nerfed. And y'all know I hate priests, right? But no, I just think priest going into this expansion is actually one of the top classes at High Legend with Wig Priest, and I think that deck is going ridiculously over the top. And I think there's 2 possible nerf targets out there. Cathedral of Atonement, 3 mana, 3 durability, give him an imp +2/+1 and draw a card. I've played this already in Duels. I've seen it in Theory Crafting. This card is so broken. For 3 mana, you're getting 3 Hand of Aduls. The stats are good. Drawing a card is good. This card to me is the location that looks the most terrifying. Outside of the imp location looks also really good. You might be able to mention that one. The imp cards look really good. Imp Warlock looks nuts. That could see multiple nerfs, don't get me wrong, but this one to me just looks ridiculous, and I could see this going down to like 2 durability at some point. I just feel like 3 basically Hand of Aduls for 3 mana is insane. But to be fair, a lot of the locations are really good, particular the mage one. I mentioned the warlock one, and this one to me stands out as the most likely to get nerfed, but again, maybe the imp one too. They're a really, really good card. But the other priest card I want to mention, this just completely flew like under my radar. I don't know how, but Partner in Crime. This is a 4 mana 4/10. This is a 4 mana 2/5 that summons a copy of it. You get another copy guaranteed. That's a 4 mana 4/10. What happened to the days of a Chillwind Yeti, right? However, with Priest, with all their cheap buffs, this card, again, another card I played in Duels, is so freaking insane. 1 wig on this is disgusting, and you put other stuff on top of it, it's so good. It's so many stats, it's like impossible to answer with basically anything. I just, again, is a card where I can see it losing like 1 health point, maybe 2. It's so good. This card's so nuts. It's so much stats. When I initially reviewed it, I'm like, it's a bit slow, you gotta work for it. You could just play this on 4. It's a 4 mana 4/10. Ridiculous card. And I guess I'll mention in the same vein with the Warlock, we'll mention one more imp card that could happen. Mischievous Imp, same thing. Borderline, 4 mana 6/6, that's 12 stats right out the gate. It's not 14 like the other one, but infused, it's a 9/9. So these are 2 cards, look out, definitely could be hit. And the last one I'll leave off with is Topiar, the Shrubagazer, the Druid Dragon, the 7 mana 5/5 for the rest of your game. After you cast a Nature Whelp, summon a 3/3 Whelp with Rush. This card, once it gets going, is just like, it reminds me of Dr. Boom Mad Genius, where you're never getting the board back. The game is actively over. The way it works with like Denathrius and everything going on with all the nature spells, this card is crazy. Even Cora had this tweet saying it's the card she's the most concerned about balance wise going into the next expansion, and for good reason. I could see this going to like 8 mana, something like that, slow down the snowball effect. But again, I'll probably be wrong on all these, but I thought it'd be a lot of fun to go over some predictions, and please share your predictions in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.